Welcome back, guys. Today I wanted to go over a new Makita 40-volt miter saw that I just got in. This is part of Makita's new 40-volt line, and this is their 8.5-inch saw. It is, I used to actually have this, which I had a custom order from Japan. It's a 18-volt miter saw. They don't sell it here in the States, but they do in Japan. It's actually made in Japan, which is really nice, amazing quality. And it's a 30 millimeter arbor track saw blade it uses. I've been using this. This thing is great for trim work, but this is the main one I've been wanting to have. The only downside to this, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the new Makita 40-volt line. It's just starting to come out here in the States, and I have mixed feelings on it, but I'm kind of switching over to the 40-volt line completely. And this saw is right now, this is cut the review short. This is hands down the best miter saw on the market for a quality woodworker. Festool does have their cordless Capex coming out. That would be interesting to see. But until that does, this one is hands down the nicest miter saw I have used to date, and it's not even close. For a lot of features, which I will go over. This saw though, the saw is great, amazing for especially lightweight, quick trim work. I'm going to actually be selling this, so if you guys are interested, just take a link in the comments. I'll have a link for it. Like I said, or if you want to just buy it new, I think they still sell them. I had to get it custom ordered from Japan, but this is a great saw if you're in the 40-volt or in the 18-volt lineup. So now with the 40-volt lineup, just brief history, they're not switching, but I think their long-term goal is to move from the 18-volt to the 40-volt. And the reason is just the amount of power that you can get out of it. For a lot of things like drilling, if you have like their impact drivers and such, they're not needed. But for some of these higher end applications, Makita was kind of going with their, dual 36-volt batteries, which use 2 of the 18 volts. And essentially this is called 40-volt, but it's literally just the 36-volt, kind of how DeWalt's 20-volt. It's really 18-volt. This is just 36-volt. 2 18-volt batteries gives you the same power. Now, my feelings on it is it kind of sucks having to switch over from having the Makita stuff, but in the long run, I think it's going to be worth it. I think that was Makita's view on it, just because I do notice a difference when it comes to these more power-hungry tools, just how much better they are. And so I think in the long run, it is going to be worth it, and I'm going to slowly be switching over to pretty much the Makita 40-volt, the XGT. So now this is the 8.5-inch. They do have, if you guys are familiar with Makita, they have their 10-inch and new 12-inch miter saws in the 18-volt lineup, which run on 36 volts or corded. And they have this same thing, 40-volt. They have the 10 and 12-inch in the 40-volt line, but I really like this one more for the compact portability. If you guys remember the 10 and 40 volt, or the 10 and 12 inch, they have a much bigger base. They're just a bit bulkier, and this thing has a lot of really nice features. So to kind of go over it, it has the built-in LED light, which will give you a kerf on your board, which I will show you guys here in a bit. It has a shop vac. So if you guys have a Makita vac, get their Bluetooth. Again, Festool has the battery stuff the best. The 40-volt battery, what Festool does with the battery, they put the Bluetooth in the battery. So pretty much even if Festool, you have like an older battery or an older tool, but you have a new Bluetooth battery, you could take this and put in any tool, and the moment this thing activates power, it then activates the vac. That is how every single company should do it. It's just much better, because now, unfortunately, if you have like an older, even if you were to buy into Makita's Bluetooth vac lineup, if you have an older tool that you want to provide Bluetooth to, it's not going to work. Where if the Bluetooth was built into the battery rather than the tool, you could then take a new Bluetooth battery, use it in an older tool, and provide. So that is the best way to do it. I wish every company would do it. I've only seen Festool actually do it. But other than that, this saw is the nicest saw. So the rip capacity is 12 and a quarter inches, which should pretty much be plenty. It is, like I said, 8.5-inch blade. The it has the light system. I've been using it for about, I'd say, 4 or 5 weeks now. And the battery capacity is amazing. What am I running on here? I forget what this came with. 4 amp battery. And I've charged this thing maybe twice. And I've put a good amount of use to it. One of the nicest features, all right. So Bevel Adjust for you Festool guys. Festool's always had the nicest bevel adjust with it right here on the handle. Makita, I'm not quite sure if this is the nicest Festool, but it's really, really nice. So you guys see this knob right here? Just turn this, loosen this up, and then completely adjustable. That's really nice. And then you just get it in there. I don't have 2 hands since I'm holding the phone, but then you just lock it in. So I would use my other hand, put it to exactly where I want it, tighten it up right here, and you're good to go. That is a really nice feature to have, this bevel adjustment right down here. Rather than trying to sit here, unlock things in the back, whatnot, having it right here is just really convenient, really easy. This right here, you can lock the saw in place in the detents, or you just move it, click it. Honestly, every single thing about this saw is exactly what I want in a miter saw. It has, if you want to go right here, these come with adjustable slides on each side. On this saw, I actually had to buy these separately, where now these are just part of the saw. They're built in. Each one of these were additional purchases. But like I said, this is a much different application. This is more about, trim work. You guys are doing like flooring jobs. This can honestly be your main miter saw. And the dust collection, I'm going to show you guys how make some cuts with it here in a second. Dust collection's great. The only downside with anything with Makita is they always have their own custom sized ports. They're not standard ever either. Even on Makitas, like this port is different than this port. This port uses the same port as their routers. If you have like a Makita trim router, that's another thing I'm probably gonna get is next, like their 40-volt router. Now we do make a custom dust collection. This one is for Festool hoses. So if you have like a 27mm hose or a 36mm hose, Festool, and you want to use with this, if you guys just have a standard shop vac, like a rigid 1 7/8 shop vac, these really come in handy because it allows you to actually use your vac hose with your miter saw. Problem is, half your hoses aren't going to work with your miter saws. And I think honestly Makita is doing that because, well, now every company's doing it. DeWalt, Makita, they all have their own shop vac line. They want to kind of push their shop vac line, so they want you to buy their vacs that pretty much fit their custom ports. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but we do make these adapters, and not just Makita. So any Makita tool you have, you got a shop vac for Festool or just a standard shop vac with your tools and you don't have ports that work, check out the links in the description. We have them for pretty much almost all tools that you're going to need, and it will just make your life a lot easier. So if you guys have any questions about this saw, please let me know. This is a little subjective on terms of it being the best saw. For me, it checks all the features that I want. My biggest thing is, over the 12 and 10 inch, I did not like the size of the base. I felt they were very bulky, which is honestly why I went with this thing. This thing is so nice. It's amazing. I need a little bit bigger cut capacity for my everyday saw, but this thing for quick trim work, I've loved it, which is why I custom ordered it from Japan. This is the ultimate saw that I did want, just because it has that larger capacity. Obviously, it's a much larger base, but compared to the 10 and 12 inch, it's still much more slim and compact. And the dust collection works great, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to cut some cherry here in a second. If you guys have any questions about it, though, about the features or anything, leave a comment, and I'll make sure to answer them. But for me, this checked all the boxes. I wanted something cordless, portable, lightweight. It folds up pretty compact, so I could put it there, drop it down. Let me show you guys this compact. So you guys see, this is how compact it is. It's got the handle right here. I can just pick it up, take with me on the go. Makes it very nice. Makita is going the Festool route too with these cordless D handles. Not cordless, but these more D handle grips like the Festool. At first, when I first got my Capex, let me get this back. I didn't know how I felt about it actually. And after using these saws for a while, I like them quite a bit actually. I think they're really nice and I enjoy them quite a lot now. So it just seems a lot more intuitive, less chance to mess anything up. Also for, luckily I'm not left-handed, but makes it easier also for ambidextrous or left-handers also. So, but for you guys that need a cordless miter saw, this is coming out. I know it's been out in Australia and a few other places for a while. They are starting to come out and hit the stores now. I think you can get it on Home Depot's website. It's well worth it. If you don't mind, if you think you're going to be getting into the 40-volt line. So let me show you guys the actual saw in action and you guys see the type of power it does have. All right, I'm going to show you guys this in action. You are going to hear my Festool shot back. Also, when I get powered up, I have this connected in the back here with my Festool hose, so you guys can see what the dust collection's like. In my experience, dust collection is pretty good. These companies are getting really good with the dust collection. So, let me get this thing powered up right here. As you guys can see, it cuts extremely well. I felt no resistance whatsoever cutting right through this. This is cherry. It went through it. I honestly feel like it has more power than my, I've used like the DeWalt, what is it, the 680? Like the main DeWalt 12-inch miter saw. That's kind of the one I grew up using for years. And it's kind of like the industry standard for miter saws. 120 volt. Corded, this honestly feels like it has more power. And I do know there's a thing with a lot of these brushless tools, brushless, they have more power than their corded counterparts. And with this saw, it feels like it. It's so smooth cutting through anything. There's just no lack of power at all. As you guys can see with the light on, this is such a nice feature. Rather than laser, more and more companies, they're going these shadow lines where they have a LED light and it casts a kerf right down over the blade and the shadow line. And this is really nice because lasers are kind of cool, but let's be real, they have to be adjusted. You gotta make sure they're actually on. With a LED light, it's just casting a shadow and you are seeing that kerf line. That kerf line is from the shadow and it is dead on accurate every single time because it is the actual shadow of the blade. So as you adjust the blade, if the blade has a different curve, it's always going to be accurate. And that is a really nice feature. So in closing about the saw, like I said, it is ideal for exactly what I want in a miter saw. Everyone's gonna have their different uses. My only complaint would be with Makita and their Bluetooth battery system. But honestly, no other company is going to have a good. I think Festool's the only company that did it right. And that's being a little biased because I'm into the Festool lineup. If you're a Makita guy, which again, I love Makita tools, and you have their cordless vacs, I do actually want to look into this though. I'm curious if I can get something that, I'm sure they do, something that I could plug into my Festool vac and have these things power on. Obviously, I'd need to buy the Makita chip for this. But if they could do that, where this becomes pretty much auto on, or I can control it through this button up here, the vac button, there's not a feature on this thing I wouldn't want. Probably a zero clearance insert, which one to probably make in here soon. But other than that, guys, this is a great saw, and I'm very interested to see what Makita actually does with this 40-volt lineup. I hope they keep coming out with them. Hopefully they can start pushing them out here in the States quite a bit quicker than they have been. But if you guys do have any questions on the saw, please let me know. And like I said, I will have a link for this saw in the description too if anyone is interested in it. All right, thanks, and I will see you guys next time.